As Nietzsche once suggested, even silence carries a truth the spoken mind dares not reveal. In every human interaction, silence speaks before words. Nietzsche believed that when someone chooses not to speak, they are often revealing more than they conceal. Silence can be a defense, a hesitation, or a quiet rebellion. The observer who listens to silence without rushing to fill it uncovers the hidden weight behind it. People often misunderstand silence as emptiness, yet in truth, silence is deliberate. It signals contemplation, restraint, and sometimes emotional overload. A slight pause before answering can indicate discomfort. A prolonged silence may hide unresolved conflicts or intimate truths. Those who master observing silence are closer to reading human essence. Silence, when paired with context, becomes a psychological pattern. In arguments, silence may be used to avoid accountability. In love, it might be longing. In leadership, it is often confidence. But when silence appears where expression is expected, it may indicate fear rather than wisdom. Nietzsche argued that humans hide their most intense feelings not behind words, but behind their refusal to use them. A sincere person rarely needs many words. Instead, their silence aligns with their truth. In contrast, deceptive individuals weaponize silence to manipulate perception, to appear mysterious rather than uncertain. What is not spoken remains loud within the soul. Friedrich Nietzsche. Overreaction is not typically caused by the present situation, but by the accumulated weight of unexpressed emotions. According to psychological theory, a strong emotional response often signals a deeper, unresolved issue in one's past. Nietzsche understood that the human mind exaggerates outward behavior when internal conflict becomes unbearable. When someone reacts too intensely to a small trigger, that moment offers valuable insight. Their response is not random. It reveals what they protect or fear most. Some overreact harshly to criticism because they doubt themselves. Others overreact to rejection because they once felt abandoned. To the trained observer, such reactions are clues. Overreaction can also be strategy. A person may create drama to avoid responsibility, shifting focus away from their vulnerability. Nietzsche would argue that people often disguise weakness as aggression. The louder someone tries to prove strength, the more fragile their confidence often is. Understanding this helps one avoid responding emotionally to someone else's emotional storm. Observing rather than absorbing, interpreting rather than reacting. This is the psychological skill of restraint, and it separates emotional maturity from impulsive chaos. He who cannot command himself must often overreact to command others. Adapted from Friedrich Nietzsche. When behavior contradicts words, the inconsistency becomes meaningful. Nietzsche believed that the mind always reveals its truth eventually, even when the conscious self tries to control it. A person who speaks of loyalty, yet constantly shifts alliances, may struggle with identity. One who preaches honesty but manipulates subtly is likely running from their own lies. Inconsistency is often seen as hypocrisy, but at a philosophical level, it is psychological fragmentation. Humans evolve, but not always coherently. Their actions may reflect rational goals, while their reactions reveal emotional wounds. Paying attention to recurring inconsistencies uncovers the actual belief system beneath their declared values. Often, inconsistency is not deliberate deception. It may reflect cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding conflicting thoughts. People tell themselves a story of who they wish to be, yet behave according to who they truly are. This gap between self-image and identity is where inconsistency thrives. To read people deeply, one must not judge inconsistencies, but analyze their roots. Nietzsche encouraged observing how others behave when no one watches. Those moments reveal which part of their personality is real and which is merely performance. We are most honest not in our words, but in our contradictions, inspired by Nietzschean thought. Kindness is often genuine, but sometimes it hides insecurity, guilt, or strategic intent. Nietzsche warned that even noble virtues can be masks. Some people offer help not from compassion, but from a desire to be needed. Others are excessively kind because they fear rejection. The trained observer differentiates generosity from emotional currency. Acts of kindness gain meaning when separated from expectation. A truly kind person does not demand recognition. Their behavior is calm, consistent, and unaffected by external validation. Strategic kindness, however, fluctuates. It becomes stronger in visibility and weaker in private. Sometimes the most dangerous behavior hides behind kindness. Those who avoid conflict by pleasing everyone can unintentionally manipulate through passivity. Nietzsche believed that suppressed anger often turns into exaggerated politeness. The person who never argues may be hiding deep resentment. Understanding kindness as a psychological signal helps one see beyond surface-level harmony. True empathy is silent and steady. Performance kindness is loud and conditional. Observing this difference allows insight into someone's emotional structure. Not every smile is born from joy. Some smiles are the last defense of a fractured soul. Anonymous, referencing Nietzsche's observation of human masks. Nietzsche emphasized self-awareness before human awareness. One cannot read others unless one first understands personal patterns. Our biases shape interpretation. We notice lies in others when we have confronted them in ourselves. We recognize insecurity more clearly after acknowledging our own. Self-observation is less about judgment and more about curiosity. By studying personal reactions, one gains clarity about emotional origins. When one learns to ask, "Why did this trigger me?" rather than "Who caused this?" perception sharpens dramatically. This makes it easier to see through the defensive behaviors of others. The mind is naturally protective. It filters reality to maintain a stable identity. That is why self-study requires discomfort, an honest confrontation with personal contradictions. Nietzsche believed growth occurs through embracing psychological tension rather than avoiding it. The more someone understands their reactions, the less they contribute to emotional miscommunication. This allows for clearer reading, deeper conversation, and more conscious interaction. Understanding the self is the foundation for understanding humanity. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle. Nietzsche's psychological principles are not tools for manipulation, but for awareness. Each clue, silence, overreaction, inconsistency, or kindness reveals the complexity of humanity. By observing patterns without judgment, one unlocks a profound understanding of both others and the self. This ability transforms relationships, leadership, and even personal evolution. If these insights resonated, remember that mastery comes through consistent learning. Each principle builds upon the last, just as Nietzsche's philosophy evolves through reflection and challenge. Watching all three parts of this series will complete the picture, offering a transformative approach to reading human behavior. This channel is committed to delivering meaningful content that merges philosophy, psychology, and practical wisdom. If you believe awareness should be shared, support the journey. Help spread deeper thinking in a world speeding towards superficiality. If you found value here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you don't miss the upcoming insights. Each interaction from you helps this knowledge reach more minds and possibly change more lives through understanding.